Hey folks, welcome to Guitar Daily. It's Nick Granville coming to you from Wellington, New Zealand. So it was just a little bit of the chord progression from a dualipa tune called I think it's called Don't Stop Now or something like that. Kind of an interesting tune. Sort of built off E minor to B minor, G, and then D. And I built it in my looper. There's a couple of ways you could look at this, right? So if we were to look at the chord progression in B minor, you could look at this as being the 4 chord, and then this being the 1 chord, and then flat 6, flat 3, flat 7. The whole thing kind of pulls towards that D chord. Kind of feels like the finish spot, right? Look at this chord progression, the E minor. I kind of see this song as being in D major or G major, whichever way you want to look at that, but to me it's really D major, B minor. So the first chord is really the 2 chord, right, for in D. 2 is E minor. Next chord, B minor, would be the relative minor, so in this case I would think of that as being the 6 chord. G, 4 chord, 1 chord, 5. Kind of unusual, isn't it? Like there's some right, so it's 2, 6, 4, 1, 5. I mean, it's kind of not really built on the normal structures that a lot of pop music is, and that's undeniably pop. That song is kind of funky too. I quite like her music. I know some people kind of like ambivalent on it. It's unashamedly pop, but to me it's like, it's kind of throwback music in a lot of ways, and it's throwback to an era that I really liked, which was funk music, and I'm hoping people will check her stuff out and go, yeah, I kind of like this funky sort of groove, and then they might go and check out someone like Nile Rodgers and Chic, right, because that's kind of where it's at, right, and that music of that era. At least that's where I hear a lot of her stuff is coming from, that sort of stuff. It's unashamedly INXS, right? But an interesting chord progression, isn't it, for a pop song? 2, 6, 4, 5, 1. Now we could look at it as being in the key of G. It doesn't totally fit. It's really, so this could be 6, 3, 1, 5, but then this. That should, for in the key, would be A minor. Because you've got that C sharp in there that's not in G major. So it's really all kind of leaning towards D. You could think of it as G Lydian, but I don't really hear it as that. To me, I hear it as like D major. So yeah, that's kind of a cool chord progression. And my approach to a song like that is kind of twofold. When I'm playing behind a singer, because I play the song plenty of times with bands, corporate covers bands, those sorts of things. I think in the UK they call them function bands. I think they call them casuals in the US. I've heard people in the US call them casuals. Doing it here, we just call it a covers band gig. You're playing covers. So my approach is a couple of things. If I'm playing behind a singer, then it's like my whole role is to support what they do, and I kind of see the guitar as the glue between what's happening in drums and bass world and then the singer, right? I'm right in the middle. So if I have a keyboard player, then my voicings get even smaller. It'll be something like this. If there's no keyboard player, then I'll kind of use fuller chords, busier rhythms, all those sorts of things. If I get a solo, which does happen sometimes on these sort of pop songs, because when we play these tunes live, usually you want to stretch them out a little bit. Otherwise, they're over in 2.5 minutes, because they're kind of designed for the radio. So sometimes there'll be a guitar solo. In that case, then I'd just be thinking D major over that. And to me, it's like I try to keep that stuff real simple if I'm playing a pop key. To me, it's not, you know, if I start getting into lines, those sort of things, it's like, it's just not the vocabulary, right? So to me, it might be something like, I might go. And I make it real clear that I'm coming to the end of my solo. Generally, I don't take longer solos if it's a pop gig. Now, that intro you heard was me just kind of messing around with the looper, and I sort of, you know, I was kind of doing a little bit of my own thing on it. But if I'm backing a singer or an artist or someone like that, then I would play some, often very simple. It might not even be as busy as that. It might be something more kind of along the lines of this. And by then I'm out of there. I'm just letting the singer kind of take over at that point. If the singer was going to come back in, usually I'd play something really clear, like I'd kind of work my way downwards rather than upwards with a phrase, or I'd kind of, maybe I'd start getting sparser and sparser and sparser to give the singer some room to come back in. But those are sort of approaches. Now, when it comes to playing my own instrumental kind of version, there's no holds barred. I can do whatever I want, right? So I'll kind of get into some territories with that. To me, it's like there's a bunch of things with that that's kind of interesting. I quite like this idea of if it's an E minor chord, right? We have this, right? Of just playing B minor over it. Right, that's a cool sound. I mean, you're getting the flat 7, the 5th, the 4th, the 9th, instead of regular pentatonic, which would be the minor 3rd. Right, I'm getting. So it's kind of leaning towards this tonality, right? And then of course that works nicely over the B minor, works nicely over the G, works over everything, but. And I really try and chase melodies. Sometimes I'll sort of bob and weave, if you will, around things. So things like. So there I sort of was, I played a little rhythmic phrase, became my theme, and then I sort of bobbed and weaved around a little thing. I realised when I played that chord, if you're not hearing the root note, you're not got a reference, but there's essentially, I was thinking like a B minor over E. That sort of tonality. Which is that thing I was saying about thinking B minor. So there's lots of approaches on this stuff. I find pop gigs quite fun. So Doer, if you need a guitar player, you know how to get hold of me. I'd love to do that gig actually. I'd say her guitar player is probably pretty well established in their gig. But that'd be a fun gig, I reckon. You know, you'd be playing big arenas and all that sort of stuff, and the music's high energy. It'd be pretty set. I'd say there'd be very little room for improvisation. But that's cool. It's kind of fun. It's funk music. It's essentially it's disco funk, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day, and that's music I love to play. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you like this, then please subscribe. Please like. That really helps. The Buy Me a Coffee is linked below if you found this useful and you want to contribute a little bit. Please excuse the wind above. There's like some massive storm hitting Wellington at the moment, so it's pretty freezing cold. But thank you so much for being here. That's the most important thing. I'm on here every day. This is what I do. It's Guitar Daily. So, see you tomorrow. Cheers.